Sabra Smith. Sabra knows a lot about social development in children because not only is she a family child care provider, she's also a doctor of education. Sabra, what do you think is going on with our letter writer?
Debbie, it sounds like the child is probably withdrawn or shy and in need of some social development activities. Perhaps he hasn't been in an environment with a lot of other children and really needs some support and interaction with other kids. Okay.
Sabra, how do you get a child who's withdrawn, first of all, to play with the other kids?
Well, you know, play experiences, Debbie, is so very, very important. It helps a kid to adjust as well as to learn social skills. For example, if you have a kid that's new to a home-based environment or center-based environment, you want to exaggerate the introduction, like class, this is, or perhaps have the other kids introduce themselves to the individual. And in addition, as the adult, you want to also explain the environment, like this is dress up, or this is the block area, or this is the sand and water table. And you also want to make sure that you engage the child in conversation in that environment, not only between the adult yourself and the kid, but also with the other children. So you want to make sure that there's an exchange of words between the new kid or the shy kid as well as the other kids in that environment. And what this does, it creates a safety zone for them. And remember that you are the adult and you are that safety person. So you want to stay in the environment for a little while with the child before leaving them so they know that it's okay.
Right. And what if you only have one child?
If you only have one child, you want to make sure that you allow that child to have experiences with other kids. You may want to take them to the park or to the library, because the key is that they learn to socialize and create social behaviors. For instance, the library has free classes. You can take the kid to those classes, but as the only adult that that kid may see, you want to make sure that you also model the behavior for them so that they can pick up. How do we do that? Well, you want to make sure that you correct their words, perhaps. If they say, give me the potatoes, you may want to say, well, what other words can you use? Like, perhaps, would you please pass the potatoes? So you want to model language. Yeah, develop language and model the behavior for them, as well as to indoctrinate them into environments with other kids, because it's really important that they learn social skills.
Because if they do that, they'll be welcomed anywhere.
That's right.
That's what I try to tell my kids.
Whatever environment, that's true.
Whatever environment.
Right. And what do you do if the kids are having problems amongst themselves?
If you have children that have problems amongst themselves, you always want to intervene as less as possible, or at least as possible.
So don't go break it up right away.
Don't go break it up. You want to make sure that first that it's safe, you know, and you want to encourage them to use their words as opposed to anything physical. A kid may come back and say, well, he said, don't do this, or he took my truck. Well, you want to encourage them to go back to the environment and use your words. How can you tell him that you want the truck, or can I please use the truck? So you want to intervene as least as possible, and you want to make sure that you encourage the kid to use their own words.
We're going to have you have the last word on outdoor space and how to use it, and if you have just one child or a small space, some of those, you know, some of those roadblocks. How can we get over that?
Well, one thing, Debbie, about social development in kids and outdoors, you want to make sure that you teach them cooperation as well as respect. So if you have a small space or perhaps one child, take them to the park. There's many parks in California, and during that time they can interact with other children outdoors as well as demonstrate respect in their social development skills like cooperation.
Right, right, because all these things that you've been talking about have rules, and have, you know, maybe somebody doesn't want to get wet.
Right.
So you have to be able to use your words like you were saying earlier at the dining room table.